What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Thinktwice, a weekly show where we talk about things going on in the world of Magic the Gathering, gaming, and pop culture. For episode 30, as always, I'm your host, Justin Parnell, joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi, and this week we're going to be talking about the future of Modern after Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan, the new Magic story, who tells the stories, and the movie Cloverfield Paradox. Alright, Ali, so, you had a weekend. Presumably you did something.
I did have a weekend. Actually, did have a weekend.
Well, that's good. That's good. You know, sometimes you miss them. Sometimes it just goes from Monday to Friday, and you skip over the entire Saturday and Sunday portion. So it's good that you have actually got to string together 2 bonus days on this week.
Yeah, for sure. It was a glorious weekend.
Okay, so.
But it came to a glorious end. And luckily...
So you ended your turn. Now, what happened on the next turn? You ended the current turn, which was Friday.
Right,
you ended the week on Friday.
Well, Monday happened, so I basically lost the game.
So you did lose. So you did...
On Monday? Yeah, because it became Monday.
Okay, so you automatically lose the game on Monday.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, essentially.
That's tough.
It's a restart. But this weekend, I did top 16 the Hex Bash.
Okay. And now, is the Hex Bash, is that the big one or is that one of the 1Ks?
One of the 1Ks.
Okay.
But this is the funny thing. Well, I actually missed top 8 again on Breakers.
It's almost like their tournaments aren't set up properly to make sure that the people top 8 that have appropriate records. But
they probably should have one more.
What do I know?
3 people with my record top 8. I did not. I think this has happened at least like 6 times with me. At least 6 times. But anyways, in Hex, by the way, not Magic.
Sure.
But the deck I meant to play a deck called. It's basically called Mono Blood.
Okay, so that's Mono Black, which, as we talked about before, is clearly the best choice.
Yes. So I had 2. I had one that was a brew. It was Mono Blood still, but I had basically saved it as a copy. It was basically blue-black.
Okay.
It was splashing a little bit of blue, but it was still called Mono Blood because I just made a copy of the deck. So when I entered the tournament, I accidentally chose the wrong deck. So I entered the tournament with a blue-black deck. This is the equivalent of putting the wrong deck in your bag and bringing no other cards to a Magic tournament. And one of my cards wasn't socketed, had no sockets on it. And sockets in Hex is you put a gem on it to make it do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like enhance ability. And mine had nothing in it, so it was just a really just it was just almost it wasn't a blank, but it was just I wasn't doing. It was basically a handicap.
But you can change that. You can change that during the sideboard
after game 1.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, it was just did not mean to play this deck. But anyways, still ended up top 16, which is nice. And then today actually went 3-0 in a singles night. They call it singles
because
night.
Only people that are not in committed relationships are able to play.
Yes. Obviously, yeah. No, it's basically Commander, but 60 cards.
Okay.
And you were saying earlier,
it's like halfway to Commander in Magic, because in Hex you kind of have a character, an avatar that you have an ability that you can use. So I guess it's more like Vanguard. Singleton Vanguard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially. Yeah, it was the first time playing it, and it went 3-0, so it was kind of cool.
So,
what about you?
Well, I watched the main thing that I did over the weekend was watch Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I do want to cover our poll from last week. So, question of the week was: when will we return to Ravnica? Ollie, return to Ravnica. You said it was going to be this year, fall of 2018. I said It was going to be next year, fall of 2019. Looking at the poll results, 40% of people agreed with you. That's a lot. But it's not as much as 44, which agreed with me, that we'll be going back in 2019. So after your victory last week, we're still recounting the votes for that one.
Okay.
The people have sided with me. But yes, I did watch Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan last week, and I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm sure you do too. So we're going to jump out for just a moment, and when we come back, Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan.
So Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan happened this weekend.
It did.
And it was modern. We haven't had a modern Pro Tour in a very long time.
2 years.
It's a very long
2
time.
years.
It's a very long time. Yeah. So I was pretty excited. I was actually nervous. I was nervous because I was like, oh man, I hope they don't ruin the format. I hope they don't come up with some ridiculous busted deck and just, do something crazy, because I enjoyed modern.
Yeah.
And my second,
which is nice. Which again is nice of you nice for me to hear you say that you enjoy modern.
But we know why I enjoyed modern, because I don't enjoy my favorite format right now, which is standard. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I was also scared because I've been working on Lantern Control for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I was scared too many people would play it, and that they might like ban something. So that was my worry.
So instead, well, you didn't. That's not entirely true. Too many people did not play it.
That's correct.
I think 5 people played it, like on the tournament.
Yeah, not many people played it, but it was very.
But for those of you that have been avoiding any form of social media other than our podcast, bless your hearts, in the last week,
that's all they need.
You can get all your scoops here, all your news and scoops. Lantern Control or Lantern Prison. A deck with Lantern of Insight did end up winning Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan. Luis Salvato defeated our friend Jerry Thompson, playing the good guy role as like a Mardu Pyromancer deck in the finals. Beating a variety of different archetypes on his way to hoisting the trophy.
Yes. Yes. He did not play any like bad matchups, I imagine.
No.
Tron would have socked it to him. But
yeah, no Tron on the top 8.
Nope. So, but there was such, like, over the weekend, I heard so many people complain about Lantern, like, oh, please ban Lantern. Let's ban Mox Opal. Okay, no, let's ban Ancient Stirrings. No, guys, we should just ban Ensnaring Bridge. And it's just like, leave the deck alone. So I know we vary here, because I like the deck.
I do not. I do not. Now, let me. I want to clarify, because I don't like the deck.
Give me some clarity.
I don't personally like the deck. I don't want to play it. That being said, I absolutely do not believe that anything should go out of this deck. Like, this deck is not too good for Modern. Does that make sense?
No. Yes.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like playing against it because it's not fun. I don't like playing it because it's not fun. It doesn't have any of the cards that I like playing. Well, actually, that's not true. Right. It does have the Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize and Abrupt Decay. I like all of those cards. But it's using them for evil, not for good. So
for evil.
So, but
I want to clarify too, to everyone saying that, like, fun is relative.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I actually, which is weird, enjoy this deck. I don't know what it is about it, but I enjoy this deck, because maybe it's because when I lose, I feel like, hey, I probably could have won. I could have won. I messed up. I milled the wrong thing, or I forced this puzzle piece to fit where it shouldn't go. I should have put it in another spot. And it's like when you're playing Lantern, you're solving a puzzle, and as long as the matchup isn't like Tron or Mono Red Prison or some kind of matchup that you just get demolished to, I feel like you actually get to construct this puzzle, and if you do it right, then you're rewarded. But if you mess up just one time, it can just all unravel. Like,
that's true, and the mistakes are pretty narrow. And for those of you that watched the top 8 of the Pro Tour, Luis Salvato knows what he's doing. I mean, obviously, he just won a Pro Tour, so it's like people. It's been a really long time since someone fumbled their way into winning a Pro Tour. I'm going to say 13 years. For those of you that keep it up, bonus points for the person who knows the Pro Tour that I'm talking about, where the person just fumbled their way into winning. Anyway, moving on.
I'm curious.
Well, yep, okay. Well, you can hit me up on Twitter at jparnell1. You can let me know. You can win the prize.
All right,
I will 500 internet points if you know what Pro Tour winner and Pro Tour I'm talking about. I know.
Well, I don't know. I want to know.
Well, yeah, you can. Do a little research. I bet you can figure it out. You're a smart boy. But Luis he clearly knew what he was doing. And fortunately, his opponents knew what he was doing too.
I mean, kind of. He did War Invention one time for Witchbane Orb, and that wasn't his deck.
Well, he knew what he was doing. he knew what he wanted to do. I would say that was a clerical error on his part that he missided out something. So like have you not ever done that where you're like, I know I want to bring all of these cards in.
Well, no, this happened in game 1. He worded for Witchbane Orb game 1. It wasn't.
He didn't have it in his deck yet. Okay,
yeah, so he called the judge over and then get a game loss for it. But yeah, that is a literal clerical error. Yeah, there were actually, speaking of errors, there were a lot of like judge calls when I was watching towards the end. On the way top 8, there's a lot of like rules questions, which is kind of like a relief for me. Be like, hey, guys, everyone must.
And honestly, that's really refreshing to see many people, because it's like these are people that play Magic professionally, as you have as you have before, and
in the past,
and this is such a difficult game. And so many people play it at so many different levels. And I don't want to take away from the mastery of a lot of the people that we saw. Specifically, the people I want to point out. Luis Salvato, who obviously won. Jerry Thompson, who won, who lost in the finals. And Ken Yukihiro, who played the Black Red Hollow One deck. Like, all of those people played exceptional Magic, particularly the entire weekend, and they finished like 1, 2, and 3. Well, first, second, and then third, fourth on the weekend. But like watching them pilot their decks, it told me a couple of things. One, the amount of non-mistakes, and I don't even want to say like perfection, but like the ability to minimize mistakes is so critical. You have one Lantern, you're literally you have so many decisions, because you have like the most decision trees every turn, because you have like up to like, I would say up to like 6 or 7 activated abilities that you can choose to use or not use every turn, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the other 2 decks are like Faithless Looting decks, where you're filtering through cards. Jerry's ability to utilize his graveyard as a resource was like unparalleled, which is what got him so far. And then Ken Yukihiro was playing a similar deck. Well, not a similar deck necessarily, but used Faithless Looting and even like Burning Inquiry and Goblin Lore, which are like random discards. But like the deck was built so well, and he like knew exactly how to play into those cards appropriately, that really had like his deck firing on all cylinders, and he did incredibly well with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But were you surprised at the number of different archetypes in the top 8?
No, not really. I wasn't surprised. I was happy. Yeah, but I wasn't surprised. I was again. I did say I was worried that someone would break Modern, but it seems like that's not going to happen. Because I remember the Pro Tour I qualified for that was Modern. There was so many. This is before like bannings. Like there were some bannings, but we had Burning Shoal.
I think the finals had like 7 cards in them, like 7 cards that were ultimately banned. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a miserable.
Which is pretty crazy.
There's Probe, Shoal,
Ponder,
Cloud Post,
Preordain. Cloud Post wasn't. No, I'm talking the finals. Just in the finals. Yeah. Cloud, or excuse me, Ponder, Preordain, Probe, Burning Shoal, Green Sun, Zenith, Wild Cattle, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's 6. Maybe it's only 6.
Splinter Twin too, right?
That was not in the finals. The finals was finals was Infect versus Zoo.
Infect. Put that in air quotes.
Infect. The original Infect, which when it was a pure combo deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
so yes, that was the last time I played. I was like, oh my god, Modern. This is a crazy format. That's just too powerful. Like there's just too much going on. So I was kind of scared that it'd be the same this time, but Wizards has hit the big enough cards to where the top 8 was very different, diverse.
So is this? Do you think like is Modern like the healthiest format like ever right now?
Modern is definitely the healthiest it's ever been, I think, right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's almost. I mean, I guess you could make an argument. I just don't think it's a good argument to make. That it's not incredibly that it's the healthiest it's ever been. But like I'm saying, comparatively to any Eternal format, not standard, because I don't want to count a standard format because there have been healthier standard formats, but that's standard rotates on its own. But I'm talking like Legacy, Modern in the past, Extended.
I think so. Yes, I think so. I would say yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the reason being is because Vintage, like, sure you have different decks, but like the core of most decks are almost always the same. Not the core of like there's always like about 9 cards you just want to use in all your decks, right? We'll say about 9.
I'm gonna disagree with that statement as someone who's played a lot of Vintage, but I do understand what you're saying, but you're
right.
It's not the cards you think it is.
Okay. And then Legacy is I think Legacy is actually suppressed by not Deathray Shaman, but I think Delver actually suppresses Legacy from it being more robust.
Well, Brainstorm suppresses Legacy. Let's call out the elephant in the room.
Sure. Yeah, Brainstorm and Delver. Like I think Tempo decks in general, like if the Tempo deck is too good, I think Tempo is the most not oppressive, but like suppressive decks for new decks to emerge. So I think that's the thing for Legacy.
Yeah, I would argue. I think Legacy is also in a fine place, but it's not perfect.
Agreed. Yeah, fine place. Not where I want to be, but yes, I think it's fine place. And then Modern is just like like a handful of tier 1 decks and infinite tier 2 decks. Then infinite. Tier
you can win.
So.
I think any deck in the top 3 tiers can win a tournament. Yes. It's just difficult for. I think the tier 3 decks have to be. You kind of have to hit the right matchups along the way, but it's still possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Tron's actually tier 2, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
sure.
Yeah, I think Modern is.
I mean, Lantern's a tier 2 deck.
I think Modern's a very healthy format.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think it was nice that because, like you were saying, some people were concerned, I guess yourself included, that the Pro Tour was going to like break Modern, but if anything, it just reinforced the fact that Modern is not only incredibly healthy from a standpoint of there's not a top deck, but also showed that there's still room for innovation, even in this format where it's like, oh, there's 20 known decks that you can play, right? And then we have 2 people playing in the top 8 a blue-red Pyromancer deck, which, I mean, of course, like seems on the surface like a deck that anybody could put together, and then the black-red Hollow One deck. Those are 2 decks that aren't really played ever.
I think Hollow One was played, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like Goblin Lore.
Yeah, not like pushing it to the max.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any new deck played, but a lot of them were tweaked and tuned.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So it is interesting because I watched this top 8 with my girlfriend Meredith.
Right. And
we watched the majority of it because we got it pretty early because I wanted to see, Jerry was in top 8. So I wanted to watch him. I was able to catch all of his matches. So I watched most of the quarterfinals, all of the semis and the finals. And we also, in addition to catching all of Jerry's matches, caught all of Luis Salvato's matches. And I thought I hated Lantern. My girlfriend, who does not really play Magic, I mean, she understands like the game mechanics, but we were still kind of like talking about like when the new decks would come up, it was actually really nice because I was like, okay, so here's how this deck wins. Like here's how this deck operates. Here's what it's trying to do and how it's going to win the game. And that was really interesting for her. And then we get to the Lantern deck, and she's just like makes this like face of disgust, and she's like, "Well, that doesn't seem fun? Why would you want to do that?" Well, so I was like, okay, so it plays this card, right? It's an artifact. So you play it for a colorless mana, and you look at the top card of both people's decks. She's like, "Oh, okay, so everyone can see what's going on." I was like, yeah, kind of. That's that's part of it." And then I'm like, "Okay." Then they play this other card that says you can tap it. It's a 1-mana artifact, and you can tap it, and you can put the top card of a player's library into their graveyard. And she was like, "Okay." And then we had talked about Jerry's deck before, and I was like, "No, some decks can use their graveyard." She's like, "Well, that's not so bad." I was like, "Oh, well, here's where it starts to get a little hairy." Ultimately, you couple this with hand disruption, so you make you discard cards, and things that make you unable to interact with your opponent, so like Witchbane Orb and then Ensnaring Bridge. Most decks are trying to win through attacking you with creatures, so once you get this card down that says creatures can't attack unless the controller of Ensnaring Bridge has cards in hand at least equal to the power of the creatures can't really attack. And she was like, "Well, their creature can't attack either." I was like, "Well, see, here's the thing. That deck doesn't have any creatures in it. There's no creatures, so this is a one-sided ability." And she's like, "Wait, so they don't let your creatures attack.
Correct.
They can look at the top card of your deck and then make you discard the ones I don't want you to get." And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Well, that seems awful. Why would anybody want to play that?" And I was like, "Not a lot of people do." So, and that's just the first reaction, where she's just like general disdain, and then it turns into the next round in the quarterfinals, or excuse me, the semifinals, into disgust because Luis is playing against Kenny Yukihiro, and she really likes black-red decks. That's her favorite color combination. She was rooting for that one, and she really liked how that deck was kind of doing, because it looks fun. And honestly, like that decks look like a blast, and it's fun to watch.
The Hollowed One deck? God, okay.
What, you don't like it?
No, I hate that deck.
See, and that's the thing. You like Lantern, and I think that deck was great. So then she's like really rooting for this deck, and then it's just like, it looks like she's like, "Oh, well, this guy's doing really good. He's like getting all this stuff in play." And I'm like, yeah, but he's gonna play the Ensnaring Bridge card soon. And then he draws War of Invention. I'm like, uh-oh, he's gonna get it. And she's like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "Well, then he has this other card that lets you go get this other card from your deck and put it into play, and no one can do anything about it." And then she's just like disgusted at the Lantern deck. and then we get to the finals, and of course we're rooting for Jerry the whole time. So she's like all on board on like Team Jerry. And then we get to the finals. We're so excited after he comes back with his incredible, like I said, his incredible comeback. He's down 0-2. He wins the next 3, gets in the finals, plays against Lantern. She's so mad. She's just like she's like furious. Like she's madder than I have been watching this.
Really?
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious. You should have. I wish you would have recorded her.
Well, I mean, the whole tournament. I mean, that was like 5 hours of recording.
Yeah, I know.
But this proves the point. Like, this is someone who is not a Magic player per se, but happened upon the stream of the Pro Tour. Now, it was watching it with me, but what if it was someone just on Twitch? What if it was just someone that logged on the internet and was like, "Oh, what's this thing like that's trending on Twitter?" And then they go and try to watch the Pro Tour, and then you see this deck, and you're like, "What is this? What Magic is? This doesn't seem fun at all." Now, to me and you,
but what like, oh my god, this blows my mind. This is crazy.
But I don't. But Ollie, I'm telling you, man. I know you like that, but I'm telling you, the vast majority, like,
I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I mean, there's a reason. Wizard doesn't print cards like Stasis anymore, or Static Orb.
It's true.
Whatever. Yeah.
And I think the vast majority of people have this sort of reaction to this type of tech, whether they play Magic or not, because you have this thing that actually doesn't promote you to play. It actually prevents you from playing. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, how you built your deck. Eventually, I'm going to make sure you can't play with it.
Okay, but the thing is, here's my problem.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason I like Lantern is because Modern is pretty degenerate. Dredge is not Magic to me. Like, Dredge is not Magic. You are destroying your opponent, and they can barely interact, if not at all, game one to you.
Sure.
I'm just saying, dude.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I can't wait till you tell me how this is different than Lantern.
It's not. The difference is Dredge kills you in like 5 turns, or Storm kills you in the turn they go off. The reason people don't like Dying Lantern is this is an analogy similar to World of Warcraft. There was a time in World of Warcraft where the mage could literally like press 3 buttons at once, and he literally just one shot you. Like you just fall over and die, and you're dead. Okay. People thought that was annoying, but they didn't hate it. Okay, because he did it like once every 5 minutes or something, whatever. But the Warlock would kill you, but he would put like 5 dots on you. Dots are things that deal damage to you over time, and then fear you. Fear you means you run around aimlessly and you can't control your character. Then after like 10 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever, you just die because you have like all this poison on you basically. Mm-hmm. And people hated that. They hated it so much because you just like you couldn't do anything. You saw your character running back and forth, just slowly dying. You're like, this is annoying. But then, like they didn't get annoyed with the maid that literally one shot you. So I see it like that. People do not like dying slowly in any kind of game. They just want to be over with.
I don't. Okay, go ahead.
This is how I feel. I feel like people think Dredge is fine and Storm is fine, and Lantern is basically like those decks, but you're dying at a much slower pace.
I don't think it's that much slower. I think people don't concede as quickly as they should. I think people, for some reason, decide that, this person, and you know what, and maybe in lower REL tournaments and like people that don't play as much that are playing Lantern decks, this could be the case. But if you have someone that knows what they're doing, once you're dead, once you're locked, like they might not kill you until you have no more cards left in your library, but you'll make no doubt about it, you're done.
Yeah, the lock usually involves a lantern and
Pixis of Pandemonium plus a Codex Shredder. Yeah. Yeah,
1 or 2. I mean, I'll say if they have 3 of those, like one Pixis plus 2 other ones.
Then you're full. I mean, honestly, it can just be done with just 1 Pixis and just 1 Codex Shredder. It can be. I'm not saying it always is.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, you're right.
But it depends. It depends on the deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, but once that happens, the game doesn't end. Like, no one forces you to concede, but you cannot win. You can no longer win the game, and only the person who controls the Lantern of Insight and the Codex Shredder and the Pixis can win the game. At that point, you just concede.
Right, but there's always that small hope, right?
No. You know what? Here's the thing. In the top 8. Both Ken Yukihiro and Jerry Thompson, when they knew they were dead, when they couldn't win the game anymore, they conceded. Those games did not take very long because they understood that when the games that they lost. So I don't buy that this takes long. Like it only takes long. It only takes long because the opponent makes it take long.
No, but there's some decks that have like something like Ancient Grudge.
Pixis of Pandemonium. If that's on top, it's gone.
If they have Pixis out, yeah. I'm just saying, man. Like,
and Ancient Grudge at that point, like, when does Ancient Grudge win you the game against Lantern? Let's be honest.
When does it win you the game? Yeah. If you mill it, it can because then you grudge the Lantern, and then they're milling blind. They can't really mill blind. So like grudge.
So you get the Lantern, and then how are you killing them? You attacking creatures because they still have an ensnaring bridge in play.
It depends. Like they can't just blind mill you, so you have a chance of drawing your cards. It depends. It depends on the game you're playing. Like
how unrealistic this is.
They get the bridge. It does.
You know how unrealistic this is. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying it. There's times it does matter. Like Ancient Grudge is the biggest one.
It's the only one practically.
Sure. I think there's more scenarios, but it's their niche. So yeah.
I mean, that's the only one that people are playing. Maybe you play more stuff. Maybe you play Shatterstorm now. I guess here's the thing. Like.
Or Chimeras, like anything basically that can regrow and like
Lantern didn't do anything new. It's not playing anything crazy. It's not. There's no like new tech in that deck that it wasn't playing before. I mean, you played this deck like in January a month ago, And
I mean, I played it. I played it when it was black green when there was no whir.
Yeah, but you played it with whir. What I'm saying, like since it's had whir, it's like the deck didn't change. It's not like this is a surprise. People knew about it. People knew about it.
Yeah.
People may be more prepared for it because it won the Pro Tour, but I think that's foolish because it's not going to be a larger percentage of the metagame. Because here's the thing: if you really want to beat this deck, you can, just like every other deck in Modern. So, Ollie, this begs the question, and this is going to be our question of the week. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Given the fact that we just had a Modern Pro Tour, as we know, a deck that maybe people don't like one, people are saying it's too powerful. Neither you nor I think anything's going to get banned in Modern, right?
Correct. Yeah, I do not believe anything.
We can agree on that. It seems like Modern's pretty healthy. You don't need to get rid of anything.
No.
But the question of the week is, on next Monday, February 12th, will the Wizards of the Coast, the Wizards of the Coast, they're the Wizards, they're controlling this, will Wizards of the Coast unban any cards in Modern?
I'm going to go with heck yeah, they will.
Go on.
Oh, you elaborate?
I would love you to elaborate.
Okay, I think they will unban one card at least, maybe two. I think that the safest unban is Bloodbraid Elf.
I thought I was hoping you'd say that one. I'm for that. I'm for that one.
I mean, that one is like 100% like the safest unban. I think in Modern, like it gives Jund a little push, and Jund does need push.
It needs more than a little. It means more than a little push.
Yeah, it does. Jund is like the epitome of a fair deck. It's literally the fair.
It is. It's the fairest deck. It's literally fair. Not only it's so fair, it wants every other deck to be fair. That's how fair Jund is.
Yeah, it's a super fair deck. So yeah, I think if they they can unban Bloodbraid Elf, and I think from there they can either unban one more card, and I think that one card can be either Stoneforge Mystic or Jace. I'm more leaning on Stoneforge, but Jace is also a possibility.
I think,
but they might back up because Control has been doing so well recently because just got Control. Yeah. But I personally would like. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wish they would unban Jace. I think Stoneforge probably more likely than Jace's, just because it goes in a variety of decks, and we already have a bunch of answers to Stoneforge. Like obviously remove like Fatal Push, Bolt. We also have Kolaghan's Command, which is pretty good against that card too. So, but yeah, I think they will unban something.
I think
if nothing else, Bloodbraid Elf.
Okay, I think if I had to pick, I think the top two cards are Bloodbraid Elf and Umezawa's Jite.
Oh, no way. Get out of here. There's no way they unban Jite.
You think they're going to unban Jace before Jite?
Yes.
No. I just Jite's so slow. It's so slow.
No, Jite ends the game.
Really? Lantern just won the Pro Tour. How's it end the game?
Because it suppresses creature decks. Like, all creature decks have to play Jite. Every creature deck plays Jite. And once Jite...
Either way, you know what? My answer is no. They're not going to unban anything. Modern's fine.
All right, go.
Don't rock the boat. Don't rock it. Don't rock it. Just leave it how it is. It's totally fine. There's no need at all to change an excellently performing format. We just saw in this Pro Tour, the top 8 was 7 different decks. The only duplicate deck was Humans, which was the most played deck in the tournament, so it stands to reason mathematically that you're going to see 2 copies of that. Everything else, 1. What, like literally nothing is wrong with it. Why are you going to risk changing that? It's a healthy format. People like it. The Pro Tour numbers, like the watch numbers, were the highest that they have been since roughly this time last year. Why mess?
Because Bloodbraid is a free unban. I think that helps the format. Because people can then play like a Teamer aggro deck or Teamer midrange with like Visions, or just play Jund.
I am for that.
Okay, the Boom Bust thing was changed to like Bloodbraid cannot cascade into Boom Bust anymore.
Sure.
So I think they should unban something, and that something should be minimum Bloodbraid Elf. She's fair. She's a completely fair card.
Okay.
And she doesn't oppress the format. I don't think anyway.
Okay. Okay.
So I say yes.
Well, there's only one way to find out, Ali.
There's only one way to find out.
You can let us know at Thinktwice MTG on Twitter, at jparnell1 on Twitter, or at Ali Aintrazi on Twitter. Our question of the week: will Wizards of the Coast unban any cards in Modern during the next unban? Now, this is going to be a short poll because I'm actually going to start it sooner than later because by the time some of you listen to this, we'll know the answer to this question. So it's going to be a short poll, but if you're listening in over the weekend, you can still vote on the poll. It's going to end Monday around 10 a.m., which is right before they'll announce the answer to this question.
We'll see Bloodbraid. Buy your Bloodbraid Elves.
Or don't, because they're probably nothing's probably gonna happen. So let us know at ThinkTwiceMTG, at JParno1, at Ali Aintrazi on Twitter. Ali, anything else on Rivals of Ixalan Pro Tour, on Modern, on Lantern or of Insight, or on being really angry?
I'm never really angry.
Okay. Well, we can take that one off the plate. You know who is angry? Angrath is angry. So when we come back,
not anymore.
When we come, well, I don't know about that. When we come back, sure. We're going to be talking about this week's Magic story. Who tells the stories?
Well,
that's why I don't want. That's why I don't want to tell the stories.
That's well, usually does tell the story. She's the warrior poet.
Is she? Is she?
Everyone's been calling her that.
But
technically,
but officially,
no. Officially,
she's not.
I wish Aang got to tell the story. I just want to see him tell it because he'd be like every other word would be a curse word, and then like him just talking math back at everybody, like. But the smack is truth.
Yes, it is.
Which is the best.
It is. It's
that makes it good.
It's the best kind of crap talking. So
yeah, like crap talking to crap talk is like okay, that's annoying. But if you're crap talking and telling the truth, it's just like that. That really that's the opposite. That's the opposite of grinding my gears. It oils
your gears. All right. So instead of Watley telling us a story, Ollie, why don't you tell us the story of this week's Magic story in brief?
Oh my god!
Well, yeah, I ask you this every week. You can't just think about it. Be prepared for like one time.
Well, listen, there's not much to tell. So we learned why the platform broke. Why the people fell through the ceiling. That was because Tezzeret was called. He pulled the Immortal Sun. They teleported away. So everyone falls to the ground, and they're all like, "Where's the Immortal Sun?" And automatically, Ingrath can feel that he's like, he can leave.
Yep.
He's like, yo, guys, in a worse term, I'm getting the blank out of here. And he planeswalks out. And then while he's like, okay, cool, whatever, Tashana's talking, and Vona's still like being all vampire and stuff.
Being all vampire. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, she's being the bad vampire, the thirsty. Alonda, the Dusk Rose walks in. Maverin's like worshiping her. And she's like, yo, you guys messed up. We're supposed to be vampires that protect the Immortal Sun. Vona's like, no, I'm not bowing down to you. I'm going to eat you. And then Lana's like, bow. And Vona just falls to the ground and her face like slams to the ground, like face plants. That's like a great part. Hawaii's like, okay, Tashana, let's team up. How about, I want to tell your story. We're going to be alliances. No one's going to own Oraska. We're going to share it. She goes back to her peoples. She goes back to her peoples on Zakama, and then gets in the city. Leader comes out. Everyone loves her, cheering on. He's like, "All right, come back with me." He has the helmet on the table. He's like, "This is yours." What happened? She tells him what happened and how she's sharing Oraska and how Tashana was great and how there should be peace. He's like, "No, there shouldn't be. I'm gonna give you the helmet, but I'm gonna tell everyone I'm gonna rally everybody and to fight." And she walks out saying, screw titles. She walks out, goes to her family. Her family's like, oh, you can planeswalk. This is cool. That's what they're focused on. And like, Wally, you need to travel to the world in order to tell your story. She's like, no. Like, yes. She's like, okay. She's like, okay, sure.
No. Yes.
So they gather a bunch of stuff, throw it at her. She's like, all right, peace dudes. She planeswalks away, and that's where it ends.
Okay. So, again, who tells the stories? If I had to pick, of all the planeswalkers in this story, I agree, I would pick Angrath.
Oh, absolutely. Angrath was, oh man.
He only had one line.
And that was the best line in the whole entire
Best line in the story. So this is a story. This is the first story that we've seen with no Jace, no Vraska.
Yeah. Yeah, no main... Well, main character in air quotes. I guess Huawei is a main character, but...
I guess.
Anyways, tell us... I want to hear what Angrath said.
You hear what Angrath said? So
I want to hear the best quote in the whole entire story.
Angrath says, I hate this plane. I hate this city, and I wish you all a viscerally painful death. I imagine he says it a lot like Dave Chappelle says it when he is Buck Nasty on the Player Haters Ball. For those of you that know what I'm talking about that. His body glowed a warm and vivid orange, and he called out, "See you never, pathetic fools!" as he planeswalk away.
That's just great.
Not only is Angrath just the best, like he's fantastic. He sums up pretty perfectly how I feel about Ixalan and all the rest of these characters.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
I don't hate them, but I don't care. No, I don't care. I just don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah, this story felt like almost like fluff in a way.
But fluff towards what? Like, what are they fluffing?
I don't know. Like, the thing is, like, I know Wizards asked the people, who do you want to control Oraska, right? They had the audience vote for the pirates, the vampires, the dinosaur empire, or whoever.
Yep.
And I personally don't like that. Like, just, you know what? I want
just
the story.
tell the best story. Tell the best story. What's the best story?
That is what I want.
Tell that one. That's all I want. Just tell the best one.
Yes, and because on top of that, like, I don't think the people know what the best story is. I don't think that the average Magic player knows what the best story is. They're just going to vote for their favorite. On top of that, the person that does care about the lore or wants to know what happens, or not, like, wants to read what happens, all of a sudden knows what happens because you see a poll, you see who the winner is, and now you know who's going to own or control the Oraska. It's just like,
so did you vote?
Yes,
I voted. You have voted, and you voted. I assume you vote just like I did. You voted for who you thought would have the best story. Okay,
yes.
And so I assume you voted for the vampires.
I was torn between two. I did ultimately vote for the vampires, but I was torn between the River Heralds and the vampires.
And I think the River Heralds won.
No, I think.
Oh, the Legion of Sun, the dinosaur people.
Won.
Yeah,
they're like the lead. They shouldn't have that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but here's what's gonna happen. I mean, Huawei planeswalked away. She's gonna planeswalk back in a week, and the Sun Empire is gonna have destroyed everything, I imagine, and can control over Oraska, because there's one more story left.
There is.
And that's next week.
There is.
Yep.
And it's gonna be, and it's like I do think that the Legion of Dusk would have allowed for the best Magic story. I think it would have just been the most interesting. I think Alonda is an interesting character. I think Vona is an interesting character. Like, I want to see more of them and what would have happened with that. I literally I could not care less about the Sun Empire. I don't really care about the River Heralds.
Well, even the pirates would have been kind of...
The pirates would have been interesting. Because it's like,
exactly. Exactly.
Well, I kind of would have liked to see the pirates, because it's like, who's leading them? Vraska's gone.
Yeah.
Angrath literally could not wait a second longer to leave.
Yeah, he's done.
So
he's a family man.
Yeah. so like, how would the pirates have won? And that's I don't know. That kind of would have been fun.
That would have been the most interesting.
Yeah, that probably would have been the most interesting. I do think it would have been the most fun. Maybe not the best story, but it would have been like, okay, well, that was kind of cool how this happened. But
and River Heralds would have been interesting too, because would they have hidden it? Like, would Triple T Tashana, would she have gone and hidden it, or would have Kumina got his hands on it and be like,
well, you're right.
All right, let's use this to fight. Like, anybody,
anybody but the one we're gonna get. Yeah,
because there's like, it's obvious what they're gonna do with it. They're just gonna use it to be the strongest empire.
Yeah, and I just
obvious.
I just don't care.
Well, because there's no power struggle on the Sun Empire. Like, the vampires had Vona and Alonda, and Alonda doesn't even want the sun, so they got it. It'd be cool. Tashana wants to hide the sun. Kumina wants its power to overpower everybody, so that would be a cool struggle. The pirates, like you said, we don't know what they want or the ending or who's leading them or. Would they have like a bidding war at the end?
I don't know.
Who knows?
So that's the thing. There's like all of these factions have like 2 central characters, right? Except for the Sun Empire, which has 1, which is Watley. But I think they're gonna try to make it 2. Like they're gonna try to make the Emperor like the bad guy to Watley being the good guy, right? I mean, like, but then that's super forced. Like, this is a character we have literally not even barely interacted with.
Exactly,
We've only interacted with this character through Watley. Like, this story has been so narrative driven, literally narrative through each of the characters' eyes. Like, you've seen stories from Watley's eyes, from Vraska's eyes, from Jace's eyes, from Vona's eyes, from Kumena's eyes, from Tashana's eyes.
The Emperor
is just some bro hanging out getting tan with some dinosaurs around. That's boring to me.
The best part, what's cool though, we learned that Zakama, all 3. Breaking off this because this is going to
go ahead.
Zakama has 3 heads.
Yep.
And apparently it's just a she.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Why?
Because I've played with Zakama and Commander.
I've cast her in Standard.
Then why are you surprised? Of course she's a she.
Why?
Why wouldn't she be?
Why would she be?
Because she's a badass.
That's only for a she? I'm confused.
I'm just saying, man.
I mean, Nicol Bolas is badass too.
Yeah, that's Nicol Bolas.
Yeah, but you're right. Well, I was actually thinking about it. I was like, man, there's a lot of she's in Magic that are just super epic.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, they're just generally. But they're better characters. I mean, honestly, they're generally better characters in every sense in Magic. I mean, which is great. Like don't take this as a complaint from me. It's literally I honestly just think they do a worse job at creating male characters.
Yeah.
Which is that's kind of nice. Like it's usually the other way around, which is really crappy. But Magic actually has it figured out because they actually care about that, actually care about making like female characters that are important and well developed and have layers. So it's not frequent because in most other media and fiction it's males, which is like it doesn't.
That's default.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Yeah. Magic has like the Kama, Schnorn.
I mean, my favorite character is Liliana.
Liliana has Vraska,
Chandra,
Nissa, Chandra, Emrakul.
Emrakul, who is
not technically
Emrakul, who is an Eldrazi, therefore genderless, but Emrakul likes to refers to itself as a she.
Correct. So, yes, but she is genderless. Yes.
I mean, hey, you know what?
Sure. Maybe
for Emrakul, still look. If Emrakul wants to be a she,
they have no biological. They have no ways to reproduce. They lack the. They literally have. They have no. Is it? I'm not sure which one's right. They're technically genderless, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But she could identify as a female, I guess.
Well, anyways, she does. She calls herself she when she's talking to Jace. Right, so right. That's good enough as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough. Okay. But yeah, so like a lot of powerful characters, a lot of cool characters are female.
I keep going on Jai Ballard.
Except Watley.
Yes, except for Watley.
I don't like.
Vraska's a great character too.
Yeah. So I don't hate Watley. It's just that she's just for whatever reason she's uninteresting to me.
Not only is she like so it might have to do with like my least favorite 2-color combination in Magic, just like playing Magic, is white green, and my least favorite 3-color combination is Naya. Yeah. So it's like Watley's like the embodiment of like all of those things. So it's just like just no. You're kind of dumb. Not like dumb as in I don't like you, like literally like you're kind of just you're like naive and you're like a child.
Yeah.
And not in the way that like Chandra is like childish, because it's different. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not in for Watley. Angrath's great. Angrath's great though. He's great. I really want to. I want to see more of Angrath at some point.
I did like her slow, like her. We saw her change a little bit, where she went from all she wanted was a title of the warrior poet. She would do anything for it. She would like kill for it. And at the end of this story, she was like, you know what, titles aren't everything, man.
Yeah.
And we're the people like the River Heralds. We're telling their stories, but we're telling it wrong. They're not telling. They're not going to tell their side of it. So she, in a way, she's basically kind of embracing not embracing, but you know, Tamio travels around all the planes, and like records what happens and doesn't interfere.
Yeah, Tamio is a scientist essentially, researcher,
a field researcher.
Which is appropriate.
Yeah. I guess Wally now, I guess, will go around, maybe talk to the people, their tribes or their peoples, and maybe tell their stories across other planes. And that'd be kind of cool.
I'm not out on. So here's the thing. Like, what is she gonna summon when there's no dinosaurs?
Who knows? That's a good question.
Maybe dragons.
Ooh, maybe.
Could be.
I mean, we saw Kiora just summon all kinds of sea serpents.
And I'm not entirely out on Watley forever. I just think that like right now. Just like you there look, I know this character's not going anywhere, and that's fine. But just, you know, get going with it. Because like Vraska the first time around was very one-dimensional. And now with like Vraska's like one of the like most well-developed characters.
Yes, absolutely.
So since we were saying first time around, do you think we're going back to Ixalan? Like ever? Or are we kind of through this whole Ixalan phase?
I don't think. I mean, ever's a long stretch.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's like it's impossible. It's hard to say ever, but
yeah, I don't think anytime soon. No, there's nothing to go back to, and going back forces them to do the whole pirate merfolk dinosaur thing. And
and if you don't do that,
I don't think.
I don't think so either. I mean, Ixalan, it's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there type deal, right?
Yeah, poor Azor.
Yeah, poor Azor. But you know, that's really the big takeaway from this story.
Useless island.
Azor got the raw end of the deal.
Oh yeah, maybe Ugin will save him. Who knows? We'll see.
Were you not here last week? Were you not listening when we were talking about Ugin?
Yes.
Ugin does not care about Azor at all. Not even in the least.
No, you're right.
Okay. Anything else on Magic Story Rivals of Ixalan 5 of 6? We got one more next week.
Nope, I'm ready for the next one. Hopefully it's a good one.
Okay, me too. All right. We are going to jump out for just a moment, and when we come back, we're going to throw up a spoiler warning. Kind of. Spoiler warning for the Netflix movie. What is this?
Cloverfield
The Netflix movie, The Cloverfield Paradox. Thanks, buddy.
Possible earthquake near the Statue of Liberty.
Looks like you should have left town a little bit earlier.
Whatever you're doing, stop.
Yeah, it is a paradox. I think this movie.
So you actually watched Super Bowl, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
I did not. So why don't you tell me what happened? Because this apparently was announced.
Okay, so yeah, let me lay down a little backstory. So
thank you.
So Ollie and I, we talk about obviously topics that we're going to have in the future. So a couple of weeks ago, we went over all the movies and like TV shows, basically the pop culture section. We kind of planned it out for the, next 6 months. And one of the things we're going to talk about was the movie titled God Particle. Now, God Particle, as we knew it, was the third installment of the Cloverfield, and I'm going to there's some air quotes, the Cloverfield Paradox. This was supposed to come out in April. Well, most recently. at one point it was going to come out in January, then it got moved back to February, then it got moved back to April. So it was going to come out in April. During the Super Bowl, there was a commercial for this movie, and they announced the name of the movie as the Cloverfield Paradox. At the end of the commercial, they announced that Netflix had acquired the rights to this movie, and they were going to be able to begin streaming it immediately after the Super Bowl on Netflix. So over the last couple of weeks, they literally acquired the movie, put it on Netflix, and then surprised everyone by just releasing it.
Which is a new thing.
Yes. So first, let me talk about the fact that this is awesome. Like, that concept is awesome. And the fact that we're getting, like, full-length feature movies on Netflix, I mean, good job, Netflix. Like, Netflix is already great. I think, like, we talk about Netflix shows so frequently because I think, like, Netflix is actually more accessible to most people than, like, going to the movies.
Yep.
So it's awesome that we're getting these movies on Netflix. So regardless of, like, how good or bad or interesting or not interesting this movie was, or any of these Netflix movies, the fact that we get these, that we can watch movies like Bright, regardless of how good it is, but the fact that it's an actual, like, feature film, Cloverfield Paradox, same thing, like, that's awesome. Like, that's a really great direction that we're moving in just as a culture, that this is just something that we can have.
Absolutely. I 100%, like, I wish I could pay, let's say, like, $10 or whatever, or not even $10, like $5 on Netflix. Instead of going to the theaters, I could watch the movie at home.
Well, sure.
Man, that's awesome. Like,
oh yeah.
Why can't I do that?
Okay, give it a few years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
great. This is the direction that we're certainly moving into.
This is the future.
We're in the future,
but we are in the future. Netflix now are more so in the future than we were five seconds ago.
Oh my gosh!
But Netflix now is they actually bought the rights to the movie for $50 million. So they paid $50 million to get this movie, which is
kind of crazy.
Yeah. But like you said, God, how awesome is it? Can you imagine? They said, "Hey guys, they announced a movie that you really want to watch. Like, okay, in 1 hour,
you just watch it.
You're gonna be able to watch this movie." It's just like,
I was like,
I don't have to wait like 6 months or 3 months or whatever.
I don't have to put pants on to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Like, if they announce like Thor 4 or X-Men, whatever, Revolution or whatever, it's like, hey, now you can watch it in the next hour. I'm like, yes.
That'd be awesome.
This is like super great surprise. Yeah. But, all right, so go back to the movie.
Okay.
Going back to Cloverfield Paradox. Yep. This is apparently the third installment, again, of the series.
Yes.
I believe it is it came off to me as a prequel. Is that how it came up to you?
That's part of the paradox.
Fair enough. Touché.
So we're in spoilers, but this is just another spoiler warning. So this movie is both a prequel and a sequel. The start of the movie is a prequel. When they go up into the Cloverfield space station, it is before the events of the first Cloverfield movie. At the end of the movie, it's after.
Yeah.
The events of the first and second Cloverfield movies have already started. It's unclear where this exactly falls in line, but we know it occurs over the events because obviously the crew in the Cloverfield space station get they kind of get lost in time and space, quite literally. And they don't have any communication with any world, their own or another. So we don't know exactly how they're gone. We just know that they're gone for a while. When they come back, there's big old giant monsters roaming the earth and doing monster stuff.
Yes. Well,
where to begin? Where to begin with this one?
Honestly, the best part was ending.
So here's the thing, and this is I think this is going to be a point of contention for people. I understand what they're trying to do. I understand that they're trying to tell like a greater story, but instead of working from the beginning to the end, they like work from middle and they're like building around it. But outside of the last 60 seconds of this movie, this isn't a Cloverfield movie. It is because they slapped the name on it and they're like making the events of the movie try to be important to the overall story that they're trying to tell. One, I don't have a clue what story they're trying to tell. They haven't even begun to tell the story. It's a thing. Like all of these things that we've seen in the first three Cloverfield movies, including this one. This is like leading up to this like catastrophic world-changing event happening, but we haven't really seen it. We saw it the most in actually the first movie that took place in 2008, like released theatrically in 2008, which is just the movie Cloverfield. That's when you see the most of these like monsters and like what's happening on Earth. You see it a little bit in the second movie, which is actually a movie I love, which is I think it's like
Cloverfield.
34 Cloverfield Lane. I'm probably saying the number wrong.
Sure.
That's a great movie. But that movie and this movie, most of the things that are like happening that you want to see, like the monster stuff, is happening away from where the cameras are. In Cloverfield Lane, you're in a bunker and you don't even see until the very, very end of the movie, which is awesome. You don't see any sort of monsters or aliens. And of course, the Cloverfield Paradox, you don't see them until the very, very end of the movie.
And you see it for like literally a second.
Literally like
first
2 seconds, yeah.
And like literally 2 seconds. It's not like we're exaggerating. It's like literally 1,
2, and then the movie ends.
Done.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like, come on. But anyways, because you basically at the ending they go back to Earth or whatever, or a couple go back to Earth, and you see a monster poke its head above the clouds and roar.
Yeah.
But before that, the guy's like, your wife's coming back to Earth. He's like, and he's just yelling on the phone, don't let her come back. Tell her to go back. Tell her to go. Like, he's just yelling over and over and over again. And it's just like, that kind of makes your heart like pump a little bit. And then all of a sudden you see the monster like poke its head above the clouds and roar. And just like, holy crap. Okay, now I want to see more. Like, now I'm excited. And it's done. It's just like, stop teasing me, man. Like, it's such a huge...
Yeah, you've
tease.
literally had
like,
multiple movies of building up to this thing that we want to see. You haven't showed us it yet, okay? That's the thing that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like, you have not shown anything. You've shown us nothing. You've shown us, like, bits of this thing that we actually want to see, which is this awesome monster movie, and we're just not getting it. So...
I'm getting upset.
I am too. I mean, this is like the last straw. Like, there obviously has to be more of these Cloverfield movies, and that's fine. Like, look, the movies have been ranging from okay to good, and the story and the world they're trying to build is interesting, so I'm in for one more. One more.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
If you mess with me on this next one, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm not going to come back. Like, they think that I'm joking, but I'm not coming back. I'm not even going to watch it on Netflix.
Man, it's... Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, shame on you. Fool me the 4th time...
Still shame on you. Always shame on you. So...
Yes. Okay, so let's actually to the movie part,
sure.
right? Okay, so we have these people... Earth is running out of energy. There's no more energy. Energy is being depleted.
Yep.
They have to go to space, do this God particle mission to get infinite energy. Essentially. That's not really explained how, but sure. They're going to do something crazy and get infinite energy.
Yep.
They send the smartest people up to space, and they start, like, you see the warning beforehand saying, if you do this, you can open up different portals. You'll see monsters, different humans, and even demons.
Like, they're setting up some
crazy stuff.
they're allowing it to happen if they want to. They're just saying, like, this is crazy. If you do this, crazy stuff's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. We'll just write it in later.
Well, it did. So obviously they launch the thing. It fails the first time. Second time it works. And Earth is gone. They basically travel to a different parallel dimension. And dimensions are like basically trying to occupy the same space now. So weird stuff is happening. And that weird stuff just doesn't really make sense. It's just like, I understand like some point it's sci-fi, something that's not supposed to make sense. But not only does not make sense, it just doesn't like progress the narrative or really make any kind of sense in a bad way.
So this is called a MacGuffin, and this movie has a lot of MacGuffins. A MacGuffin is a thing that drives the plot forward, but it doesn't. That's like its only reason for existing. Like it's not even important at ultimately. Like it's not an important thing at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so the first MacGuffin is the worms, right? The worms you see at the very the beginning of the movie on the spaceship, and they vanish, and then this guy who starts going crazy just like randomly dies, and like the worms come out of him.
Yeah, he vomits them up. Yeah, that kind of almost felt like a throwback to Aliens.
Yeah, a little. I mean, there was a lot of little nods to Alien in this movie.
Yeah.
None of them very good, but that was one that was like a thinly veiled nod to it.
Yeah.
But it's.
And he vomits a ton of worms. Like,
well, there were a lot of worms. There were a lot of worms in that little glass case.
They were, but he kept you saw him move his eye and like you saw him like touch his forehead, but you think you'd see like a worm crawl through his skin, but you never saw that. Instead, you just saw him vomit them all.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like first of all, like how did they get there? How did the worms get into them? Oh, they're in a parallel dimension. This is how it happened. There's no explanation. It's crazy. Yeah. But so the whole reason for this is because the orb thing.
The Euro. The Euro. Do you want steak, chicken, or lamb on your Euro? You want some tzatziki sauce, some lettuce?
The Euro ball.
So the Euro. The gyro.
Yeah. Which is the thing that allows them to fire the Shepherd particle.
Yes.
Goes missing, just vanishes because why not? But they had to get it back somehow. So here's the MacGuffin: the worms. The worms are in the guy. Ultimately, what's in the guy?
Well, to find that out, this guy has to get his hand sucked into the wall.
No. Wait a second.
Oh, sorry.
Wait a second.
Sorry,
it's in the guy. But how do we know it's in the guy? Because MacGuffin number 2, this guy another guy number 2, comedic defect guy, has his hand randomly sucked into the wall, and then it appears at another part of the ship, except it's now like idle hands thing, and it's doing its own thing, and like...
Can you time it for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So the arm is like stuck in the wall, and I thought it was like on the outside of the ship, but maybe it wasn't. Anyways, it kept going back and forth. Then it was sliced off. There was no pain, but you could see like all the bones, the blood, and everything. It was like, how did it heal that way? Like a wound doesn't heal like that. It was like,
but in the paradox,
yeah, but it's gonna infect it.
Nope.
Like he just left it there. Like I can understand. Okay, sure. I can maybe get behind no pain. I can get behind no bleeding. But wrap that thing up, man. Wrap it up.
In fact, it seemed like the only effect it had is it made him want to crack more jokes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so of course the arm, which is now has a mind of its own, gets a pen and tells the crew to look inside the guy with the worms, and of course they find the ball in the guy.
Which doesn't make sense because she has to. It's not like bulging out. It's in a place where. Basically, like a golf ball would fit,
but it's also gigantic.
Yeah, so whatever. Okay, sure, they get it. And before that, there's someone screaming in the wall, and they go to scream. And in my head, I'm like, "Don't open this freaking wall! Don't open the wall! Like, why are you gonna do this? This is just." Of course, they gotta do it.
Well, yeah.
They open it, and there's a girl in there. She just like has these wires running through her, burning her up. And that's also a throwback to some movie or not. But anyways, they call the wires out. They've healed her up. And apparently she's from the parallel universe
where
that was on the ship.
Parallel universe where they've also sent the Cloverfield space station into space. But she is a crew member that has replaced one of the other crew members in this universe where they didn't go up on there. So did anyone raise your hand if you thought that this character was just going to be a good guy the entire movie? Great.
Wow.
Okay, no one. That's a 0. 0 for 0.
Yeah.
Man, I want Like, I wanted that to happen because it's like, I'll be pleasantly surprised if this person just doesn't turn on everyone and just try to go crazy. But yeah, here we are. And exactly what you think happens. Most people die. People die in really weird ways, like they're just really unexplained. But they're explained because it's the paradox. And crazy stuff is happening. All these crazy kids are just dying in crazy ways.
And we're kind of like poo-pooing on this. But I want to say, I did enjoy this movie. I just wish it wasn't so like crazy.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed watching it from start to finish. I was a little annoyed here and there.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm glad I watched it. I just wish they would have like not just chalked everything up to this
paradox. The paradox.
Yeah, explain some stuff, like please.
Yeah, and the thing. Yeah. So here's the thing: the movie ultimately didn't take itself too seriously, which I appreciated. Like it realized how ridiculous that stuff was. Like you don't have an arm crawling around on its own. Yeah. Like and you know the person who lost is like cracking jokes about it. It's not taking itself too seriously, and it's like I did actually like it wasn't bad. I probably won't watch it again, but I was like this movie's fine, but I didn't roll my eyes a lot.
Yeah, I won't watch it again either.
So that's kind of where I landed on the Cloverfield Paradox. Hopefully, this is a movie that lends itself to be a part of the story that tells a greater story in the future.
Yeah, one thing I want to go on a little rant about. Since
go ahead.
Ways. Okay, so this person they save from the wall goes basically starts
she goes ham
with this. Yeah, she goes ham twine skillet with this 3D crafted gun.
Yeah,
paper gun, I guess. Anyways, but we don't know why. Like, does she want to kill everybody and then take the shepherd, and like give energy to her planet? But if she does that, she dooms both universes or both dimensions because they're fighting to occupy the same space. In order to stop that, you gotta have to do everything again and send the shepherd back to its original timeline. So what is her goal? Like I don't understand. She gonna just send this energy to Earth and then just let the universes destroy each other?
So I guess that the answer in that lies to the answer of this movie. What is the goal of this movie? And it's pretty well. I think I do know. I think it's just for entertainment. It's not trying to present itself in any other way other than this is a great way to spend a couple of hours. It's entertaining. You're not going to be bored.
No.
You're on the edge of your seat. You're not bored. And it's kind of fun. It's a fun movie. Not in the sense that like Jumanji was fun, like that we reviewed a few weeks ago. Jumanji's actually that movie's a blast. This is just like, okay, that's fine. And you know what? This is the perfect movie to see on Netflix. Because I think if I went to the movie theater and saw it, I would have felt differently.
I agree. The fact that it's on Netflix and I didn't pay for this was fine.
So I think that's kind of where I land on the Cloverfield Paradox. Do you have any final thoughts, Ali?
No. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Did I miss anything? Probably more rants, but
okay. Maybe if you want to talk to Ali about it on Twitter, you can do so at Ali Aintrazi on Twitter. So,
one more. I got it. Okay, so apparently they said it was two dimensions or two parallel universes fighting for the same space.
Yes.
Right? Okay, then where'd the monsters come from? Where'd the monsters come from at the end?
They have to.
And in timeout, and if they did the thing and reversed what they did and they fixed everything, then why are there still monsters in our dimension?
Well, it's clear they did make it clear that you could carry over people and things into other dimensions because they were in the other dimension and all the people, for the most part, were still normal, and then they carried the bad lady back to their dimension. So that is at least solved. For the last part that you're asking, like I assume that's something they will have to address in the next movie, but it is something they could address.
Yeah, and that movie is coming out in this year.
Yeah, like at the end of the year. Now, I think there's probably a chance it gets pushed back to next year, so there's like a full year cycle between these, and that's fine. That's fine. But like, yeah, I mean, you have a shot. You have a shot to answer this question. Just don't muck it up.
Yeah, this movie was pushed back forever too. The God Particle was pushed back over.
Over a year. It's been done for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Okay,
All right, you're done? Rants over. All right, great. Okay, all right. In that case, we're done for the show, guys. So we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to wrap up when we go back. All right, Ali, you know the drill. What you doing on the weekend?
I'm actually getting a new drill.
Oh, you get a new drill? Okay.
It's going to be powered.
Okay.
And then I'm taking that drill and playing in a 5K for Hex.
Okay. You gonna start to drill some people?
Exactly. That's the new drill.
Okay.
New drill. No, but okay. So the Hex 5K this weekend is a 5K that everyone can enter, but the loophole is, or the difference
The loophole.
is whatever you want. Yeah, the paradox.
Okay,
is,
the paradox.
The paradox is the 5K is in-game currency. It is not actual money dollars.
Oh, so you have to have earned in-game currency.
No, you get it all. You get it all in-game currency. So if you went to $2,000.
Oh, it's 2,000 in-game dollars. Okay.
Yes, which is still absurd, by the way. Like, if you really want to, you could like turn that into cards and just sell it to whoever for, let's say, $1,500.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty good for a free tournament.
Yeah. Or you just never have to buy a card ever again for like next
year and a half. Oh, longer than that.
More $2,000, and Hex is cheaper than Magic. So
Okay. Sounds like a lot.
And that's if you never win again. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'll be playing.
Awesome. I will not.
What
I'm going to spend my Saturday going to the Big Lick Comic Con. We have a Comic Con in Roanoke. It's for those of you that don't know, Roanoke for some reason used to be called Big Lick. That was actually the name of the city, long ago, well before I lived here. But I'm going with my girlfriend and her two sons to the Comic Con on Saturday, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then
are you taking any cowtails to Big Lick?
No, I'm not. I'm going to try to not make any Big Lick jokes because I hate that name. I think it's terrible. Anyway, on Sunday, my girlfriend Meredith and I are going to be going to Raleigh, North Carolina to see our favorite band, well, my favorite band and one of her favorite bands, Sleigh Bells, in concert, which we've seen before, but we're going to go see them again, and we're super pumped.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So, Ollie, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Twitterverse.
Excellent.
www.twitter.com/Ali Aintrazi, twitch.com/Ali Aintrazi, and my Magic articles come out on gatheringmagic.com. This weekend, this Friday, I actually wrote about a legacy deck, which I think is
legacy.
It's a sweet one. It's a sweet deck.
All right.
I think you'll
okay,
like it, actually,
so it's got Deathrite Shaman.
It does have Deathrite
Ooh, okay,
Shaman.
all right. I'm in.
I think you'd actually like this deck. I think you'd like this deck.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, someone locally made it. It's the guy that actually developed the Top Deck app.
Okay.
But anyways, he plays a ton of Legacy locally. He promotes it all the time, and he actually top 16 the GP Legacy event with this deck. So he's played this deck a lot, but he just doesn't have enough time to travel. And he says it's really good, and I played it for a little bit. And it's just like it's just the deck's a blast. So
okay, I'm gonna check it. You got my attention with Deathrite Shaman, so I'm in to check it out.
All right. All right, you Parnell. Where people
you can find me on Twitter as well, twitter.com/jparnell1, and you can find me every Wednesday, 11 a.m. on StarStateGames.com and YouTube. I'm the host of the Commander Versus series, as most of you know, so you should go check that out. We're in the middle of what we're calling our Season of the Fan, and we are going to be revisiting next week the Commander 2017 product, plus $200. So we take the pre-constructed deck, and then we're adding $200 to it. So if you're interested in that, that's usually a really popular episode for us. You definitely want to check that out. I'm going to be playing Inala, which is the Grixis Wizard, and I'm going to try to do some real broken stuffs, if I can.
Okay.
If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at Thinktwice MTG. And of course, you can find the show on SoundCloud. You can find the show on iTunes. You can find the show on YouTube. We'd love for you to subscribe to us on one of those channels so you can make sure to get the quickest update whenever we release new content, especially in the future as we will be releasing more and more content in addition to the podcast. As we are forming into a vodcast, as you guys don't know this because you're listening, but we're actually doing a video recording to get prepared to start to do this on a regular basis.
Yes.
So
we have a video up that we're testing.
we are.
Now.
So we're doing the video thing. You can't see it, but you will very soon. And maybe, just maybe, in the future, maybe we'll release this episode to patrons. But
Sure.
you gotta ask real nice, because this is the video pilot.
This is the ghetto bootleg.
Yeah, this is the bootleg version.
On my screen right now, I have a sorted body and mind.
Actually, just for no reason, because it matches the show's colors. So we put it in there. You, in addition to that, we'd love for you to leave a comment or a review if you're listening on iTunes. Comment on SoundCloud or YouTube. Any of that, any discussion helps with the show. If you want to support the show, you can absolutely share it. That's the number one best way to support it, is tell anyone you possibly can about the show. We'd love to get more listeners and viewers. That's going to help us continue to do more cool stuff. If you're able to support us on Patreon, if you have $1 that you want to chuck in, you can do so. It's patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. We have a lot of reward tiers. We've reached a lot of goals already. We're going to be starting to roll those goals out. And for those of you that are subscribed to support tiers, you should be, if you have not received a message yet regarding some of the stuff that you feel like you should be getting your reward tiers, you're going to be getting messages soon. We have playmats literally on the way, and we have tokens that are almost done.
They're still being created, yes. But the art for the playmat's done. Actually, the entire playmat's being shipped right now.
So it will be at some point, probably at the end of the month. Hopefully, it depends on tokens when we get those tokens in. But we will be making sure to get that stuff out to you if you're supporting at the appropriate tiers.
As soon as possible.
If you want to be supporting, again, patreon.com/thinktwicemtg, you can get cool stuff like exclusive playback, exclusive tokens. You get exclusive deck lists from myself and Ali. Ali has a deck doctor that he's doing. I have Commander versus support that I'm doing. We have a few new Patreon supporters this week. We have Ryan Johnson, Peter Mendez, and Craig Ryan Rivet. We want to thank you guys very much for your support and everyone's continued support that is a supporter of our show already.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. We also want to thank our graphic designer, Amber West. You're going to start seeing her work more frequently, as we've been saying for a little while. And of course, our director and producer, John Choi, who we literally could not be making this transition to video without. And he is, I especially want to thank him, and you guys should too, because he's instrumental in to make sure that this is possible. I am literally a functional infant when it comes to my knowledge of this video stuff. So,
we got it.
Yeah, that's all you guys. I do the talkie and the directy in here, and then you guys do the video-y on over there.
The video and the
Yeah, those are the technical terms as far as I know.
Got it.
We also want to thank our Agent of Bolus producers, Daniel Hunt, Josh Lyons, and Gordon Russell. Thank you guys very much for your continued support. And of course, I want to thank the best co-host in the entire podcast, Ali. That's you.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
I love you too,
that's
partner.
you.
I love you now, and in other universes. And that's the paradox. So.
Wait. So
dimensions.
you love me minus your arm.
No. I'm saying the paradoxes, which is weird. In every single parallel universe, there's probably like 1 million of them. I love you.
Oh, that's very sweet.
And that's a paradox.
It's not. I don't think that's how it works. I think you need to go back and watch the movie. I don't think you got everything you could have out of that film.
Nah, paradox is like something that's like isn't likely, right? It's like
why is that not likely?
Because
are alternate universes of me not as lovable as this one?
I mean, in an infinite universes that technically
well, careful. You're walking on thin ice. I love you too, buddy, and we love all you guys, and we will talk to you next week.